Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on plotting. This is our third unit on EDA. Hopefully you've already seen the intro video to plotting based on the grammar of graphics. In this video, we're going to introduce Seaborn and also the MPG miles per gallon dataset. And notice here already I have spelled dataset wrong, so let's fix it. All right, looking better. So, okay, first question is asking us to load the MPG dataset from the Seaborn library. So first thing we should do is let's just import Seaborn. So I'm going to say import Seaborn as SNS. This is a standard abbreviation again, so we're always going to use it. And let's do lowercase s. All right, looking good. And I've told you that Seaborn has this miles per gallon dataset. Maybe first let's see what other datasets do they have. So I can say sns.get underscore dataset names. And this is going to return for me all of the different datasets that I have access to. So maybe the taxis one looks familiar. This is actually exactly where the taxis dataset is from. And today we're going to be focusing on the MPG dataset. But penguins is a fun one. We'll probably see that a little bit later in the class. So, okay, let's get the MPG dataset. So the way we do that is you do sns.load underscore dataset, and then you pass as a string the name of the data that you want. So we want MPG in this case. So that's looking good. And let's give it the variable name df. And then I'll call df here so we can take a look. So you can see here it has information like miles per gallon, number of cylinders, horsepower, weight, acceleration, and then all the way at the end it has the name of the car. So this is the data set that we're going to be working with today. A couple of things we could do. We could say df.shape. Let's check the dimensions. So we see here it has 398 rows and 9 columns. So kind of, this is a relatively small data set, right? Especially compared to the taxis one where I think we had about 6,500 rows. Another thing we could do, let's do df.sample. And let's pick 5 rows randomly just to kind of see what we get. So, okay, kind of this variation in miles per gallon. And we can see here these are the randomly selected cars, but okay. All looking good so far. Now we can start answering some questions. So it's asking how many origin values are in this data set. So let's take a look at the columns. And we can see here that origin is one of the column names. So this represents where the car comes from. And let's see how many values are in this data set. So I can say, let's do the length of df of origin. And as a little sanity check, what do you think this is going to return? So 398, this is the number of rows. So that's not really telling us much unless every single data point came from a different origin, but we should be a little suspicious because surely at least 1 or 2 cars come from the same place. So there is this series method called unique. So what I could do is I could say df of origin dot unique. And we can see here, this is returning an array with the distinct entries that show up in this column. So we have USA, Japan, and Europe. These are the 3 places that cars in the data set can come from. Now notice, again, I think we've seen this before, but unique is a series method. If I try df.unique, this is going to throw an error. So, okay, yeah, not looking so good. It's pretty easy here to kind of count that there's 3 origins. But if I had a much larger array, I could do something like length of df of origin dot unique. That's looking good. Another thing that's interesting is value counts. So I could say df of origin dot value counts. And what this does is it takes all of the places of origin and says, well, how many data points come from that place? Well, it's saying we have 249 from the US, 79 from Japan, and 70 from Europe. And if we added these all together, again, what number should we get? well, we should get the number of rows, right? So good little sanity check. Another thing we could do is say, well, what's the length of df origin dot value counts? And it's saying 3. So again, exactly like what we would expect. Very good. Next question is asking us, how does the average weight of a car differ across these origins? And we're going to use the data frame method group by. So this is the first time seeing this group by object, so it's going to be a little bit strange. So let's do df.group by. And we say, well, what do you want to group by? I want to group by origin. And this is an example of what we get basically is a data frame group by object. This is a very specialized object, and really we're only going to be using it for this kind of thing. So, okay, once we have this, we can say something like we can use methods on the group by object. So I can say df.groupBy. Again, origin. So this is going to give me that group by object. Now there's a method called mean. So what this is going to do is it groups by origin. So it takes all of the data points that are from Europe, and then it looks at the average across the miles per gallon. So we can see average miles per gallon is 27.89 for Europe. For Japan, it's 30.45, and for the US, it's 20.08. And we can do this across all of the different columns. So now it's saying, can we compute that same average weight for Europe using Boolean indexing? So Europe here, we got 27.89 miles per gallon on average. Let's see if we can do the same thing. So using Boolean indexing, I can say, well, first I want where the origin is equal to Europe. Then I take df of this to get the subdata frame. And let's take a look at it. So, okay, if we go to the origin column, look, these are all Europe, so that's good so far. Excellent. And notice we got 70 rows, and when we did the value counts, it said that's what we got. So excellent, things are looking good so far. Now what we need to do is take the average of the weight column. So I could say df, or I think I called it sub df of weight. Let's take the mean. And we saw here. And let's see, so why is this average? Oh, I think I was looking at the miles per gallon, and it says average weight here. So let's look at the average weight that we got for Europe. It was 2423.3. 2423.3. I temporarily panicked. I was like, these numbers are totally different. I confused miles per gallon and weight. So good, very good. I want to end this video with a motivating question. So I'll type it out for us. And it is, how does miles per gallon change based on weight? At this point in the course, we don't have a concise way to answer this question using just pandas. And part of the motivation for plotting, or kind of one of the real powerful points of plotting, is we're going to be able to see how the miles per gallon changes based on weight. So that's what we'll do in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.